All right, so my name is Sterling, and I'll be playing the part of a clinical therapist in this setting. And Haley will be playing Denise, a middle aged, recently divorced woman seeking um, therapy for the first time. So this will be our intake. All right. Hi, my name is Sterling. I use he, him, his pronouns. Thank you for being here today. We're just going to start a little with some easy questions. So could you tell me your name?
Yep, my name is Denise Smith.
Awesome. And how old are you, Denise?
I'm 47 years old.
Awesome. So what brings you to therapy?
Yeah, so I about a year ago, I got divorced from my husband. We were married, oh gosh, we were married for 20 years, and he had not been faithful in our marriage, and it's been really tough kind of dealing with that this past year, especially because I've got two sons. So I'm a single mother now and trying to deal with taking care of them, grappling with this issue of my ex-husband. It's just, it's been a lot, and I feel very overwhelmed with a lot of emotion. I feel very stressed out, and I really just don't feel like myself. It's been a really, really, really tough year.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's just been a lot of change in like your family structure, taking on new role as a single parent and that sort of thing. Um, and you said that you have two boys, is that right?
Yep.
Uh, what are their names and ages?
So my oldest son, Jeffrey, he is 18. And then my younger son, Michael, is 12 years old.
All right. And do they both live with you? Do you all have like a parenting plan in place?
Yeah, so they both live with me. It's only been a year since the divorce, and they've gone and visited their father um just a couple of times for like a holiday or
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. So he moved out of state actually. So he lives he's still close by though. He lives in Ohio now. So my boys will visit him kind of infrequently. I've always been really close with my sons, and so it was in this situation just a better idea for me to be the one really taking care of them. But it's been very stressful. Even though I love them, it's a lot of work to do by yourself.
Yeah, especially you mentioned being married for 20 years and the sort of change that comes with that, and trying to uh, figure out the one parent household
Hmm.
situation. Um, so I'm gonna ask you to uh, describe the the following things for me, just to give
Okay.
kind of a baseline of where you're at.
Hmm.
Um, so if you would describe what your sleep habits or your relationship to sleep is like.
Well, sleep, who is she? I do not know her. I have not slept very well I mean, definitely over the past year. I feel like it's a little bit hard to get to sleep. I feel like I've got a lot of thoughts always going around in my mind. I can't quiet my head. And then once I eventually do get to sleep, it's very restless sleep. I'll wake up in the middle of the night usually and can't go back to bed for 30 minutes or sometimes like an hour. And then just I'm going to bed kind of late and getting up really early. I've got a lot of stuff to do. I'm working, trying to take care of my boys, trying to get them ready to go to school and pick them up from school and all that kind of stuff. Balancing that, I feel like there's so much going on that it has affected my sleep for sure.
Yeah, sounds like the disruption in other parts of your life is infiltrating sleep habits and that
Hmm.
sort of thing. Would you say that this sort of disrupted sleep started with the divorce, or was it always there?
Um, it it pretty much started with a divorce. I didn't really notice like too many bad habits before that. I mean, my husband was unfaithful to me, and during our marriage, I always felt very secure in that until, I found out what he had been doing.
Mhm.
And so I feel like just that put me on edge a little bit. And that lack of like trust and losing that with him, I think really kind of set me off. Like I felt safe, I felt very comfortable in my life. And then just that kind of derailed everything. And I feel so overwhelmed with everything going on. And I just am like stressed out constantly. And that does not help.
Mhm. And I'm not sure if I asked you this already, but what is your ex-husband's name?
So his name is George.
Okay, and
I know, really boring name, right?
um, and do you all still have like any sort of relationship or friendship?
Well, I hate him. um, we we dated for a long time. So we got married. Like I said, I was 26. We met in college, our freshman year, and we dated ever since then. So
Mhm.
we were very, very close. I would have, I considered him kind of my best friend, and um, what I thought was a decent father uh, to our boys. But obviously, I didn't know everything about him, and I think what I was getting was not how he really is. Apparently, he kind of he kind of changed. Definitely, that very out of the blue, and I
Can
don't.
be
I try not to talk to him much.
Gotcha. Can be really difficult when someone who's really close to us makes us distrustful of them, and has hidden things from us, and can make you question like a lot of other things in your life. So I just wanted to say that. Do you have anyone, like, who are the people closest to you besides your sons?
Well, I think that that's really hard to say. I've got a couple of friends from college that live in Michigan. Like some are like an hour away, some are a little bit closer. Especially after the divorce, though, I haven't really been super in contact. Some of them have reached out a couple of times, but I feel like I just have so much going on that I don't even really have time to devote to those
Hmm.
friendships, I guess. I've been really, really focused on just trying to make a good life for our sons. I mean, this was hard for me, obviously, but this has really been, tough for them too. They're at an age where they, kind of understood what was going on, and
Hmm.
I think that they've both been affected by it as well. And so I try really hard not to kind of show my feelings about it in front of them. I mean, I think they know that I, you know, hate their father, but um, it's it's tough. I've really just been kind of spending time with them.
Okay. Or, um, you know, to come to therapy is a big decision, and it's usually a personal one where you're looking for help. You're like something has changed, and so uh, it sounds like what you've been up to is like really making sure that everyone else is okay,
Mhm.
um, and kind of you know dulling down the way that you've been feeling, just to make sure that like your sons are okay, which is perfectly valid, for what you're going through. But I want to talk to you about like what self-care looks like for you, or what it could look like for you.
Mhm.
um, do you have anything that outside from spending time with your sons that brings you joy?
Well, I think that's a little bit tough because, like I said, I've been devoting a lot of time to my sons, and I don't really take the time, I guess, to think of things I can do for myself. I don't think that I really have time um, for that right now. But things, if I'm really having a rough day, I mean, I do love wine, love to come home and drink a glass of wine after work. That can kind of wind me down. Um, I used to in college, I really liked to paint. Haven't done that in a couple years. Um, Again, I don't think it's something that I really have time for. And I don't know, that's a really hard question, actually, to answer.
Yeah, it's hard for a lot of people to answer that, especially when there's been big changes in their life, and you're just trying to find some sort of routine to be in, um, and that sort of thing. So I just, we'll in our sessions we'll keep working on this and keep thinking about different ways that in the limited time that we have throughout a day, to just find those little moments to take time for ourselves.
Mhm.
Um, so you mentioned your friends that live a good chunk away and that you haven't had any consistent contact with. Um, are there Do you have parents or anybody that you feel like is your support system?
Well, so my parents actually passed away a couple of years ago. So that's been difficult. I was very close with both of them, especially my mom. We had a really good relationship. And in fact, my ex-husband also, she really, really liked him. And I think that was tough too, just going through this divorce. And I know that my mom would have been devastated or, wherever she is now, kind of looking down. And I really wish that I had her here
Mm-hmm.
for that support because I was very, very close with her. And I feel like she always kind of had the answers sometimes. It's kind of a mom thing. But
What do you
um,
What do you think she would say right now?
well, she'd probably tell me that I need to kind of pick myself back up, um, and that I'm doing the best that I can. She kind of always instilled that in me a little bit because right now I don't. I try so hard. I try so hard to be there for my sons and to show up for work and to provide them, food on the table or a house to live in. And it just, it gets really, really difficult. And I really don't feel like, I'm doing a good job a lot of the times. It's really hard to do by myself. And I feel like she would probably want me to know that I'm doing everything that I can.
Well, your mom sounds like a very wise woman. Sometimes it can be helpful to, especially if we've lost a loved one or someone that we look up to ask ourselves that question every once in a while of what would they say right now.
Yeah.
And so whether it's just jotting those things down and taping it to your bathroom mirror so that you're reminded throughout the day, that you are trying, and you are providing for your sons, um, and that sort of thing, so that you have uh, that constant reminder. Because with all this change, it can be really difficult to see, progress, or
Mhm.
everything is happening all at once, and so sometimes it's hard to, um, take a step back, in the way that other people can see. Um,
Yeah. Thank you. And I'm sorry about that. I just got a text from my son. He's at baseball practice and he needs me to come pick him up. And I think we're getting kind of to that time anyways. Right?
yeah,
This
yeah,
is
I was
yeah.
about to say, coming to a close with this first session. But Denise, I appreciate you sharing with me, and letting me know, let me in on all the big changes and things that have happened over the past year. And, um, really what I heard today is that you care for your sons and that you are doing your best. You're trying to provide for them. And, sometimes that means not like taking time for yourself. But it also sounds like, you know, you're showing up to therapy. So we are going to take this time to dedicate to you and try to connect you with some support and resources that um, remind you that you are doing your best. um, so I appreciate your time, and we'll continue this work um, next week. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sterling. It's been great talking with you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week.
All right, sounds good. You take care.
Thanks. You too.